company, and this is the Dreaming Show. How many times did you feel fear? How many times fear stopped your dreams? Today, I'm talking to HUGH OVERHUE. He's going to talk about how to overcome fear. Hi HUGH, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks Gaby. How are you going?
Good, thank you. Thank you for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm really excited to be here today and share with your audience.
Thank you. Could you tell us a little bit about you, please?
Absolutely. So I'm based here in Melbourne, Australia, and I run my own business, and that's called Realise Your Power. We're in the field of personal empowerment, and we provide 6-month personal success coaching programs for people who are looking to make an even bigger impact in the world. So it's really about helping them move from that place of fear and doubt to that place of purpose and passion and joy.
What is fear, HUGH?
Fear is really that physiological response where we start to sort of shut off, and we're starting to think, maybe I can't do this, maybe I'm not good enough. Starting that negative self-talk, and it really stops us from doing what we really desire to do.
Telling negative stories to ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What else can you tell us about fear?
It's something that's really, it's natural in our animalistic survival code. It's something that it's one of the first forms of thought that we developed thousands of years ago, that fight, flight or freeze response that kept us safe from the saber-toothed tigers back in the day. So it's something we need to understand is always going to be within us. There's no point in trying to get rid of it, because it actually serves an important role in keeping us safe. You know, when we're crossing the road and the bus comes, we need to just jump out the way. Or when we're in traffic, we need to just brake really quickly if there's a jam in front of us.
So it's a mechanism of self-protection.
Absolutely.
Now you look very confident, successful. What happened to you in the past?
Yeah, well, probably 4 years ago, I was in a real place of fear. I just felt completely stuck. I was living in a small country town over in Western Australia, the other side of the country. And at that point in my life, I was 27 years old, and I was driving trucks for a living, driving the big long road trains with 3 trailers. And my whole focus in life at that point was making money. I wanted to make money for my partner and our future family. And it was all about work, 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week. And we'd sort of bought one property, and we were just about on the verge of buying a second property, and I started to feel weighted down with fear of, is this how the next 30, 40 years of my life's going to be? Is it just going to continue on this same path of work, of doing something that I wasn't completely fulfilled with? There was a sense in me that I knew that I could be giving more to the world. I knew that I had other things that I wanted to do, greater abilities I wanted to share. And it started to really sort of weigh on me that I want to make a change, but I just sort of was in that place of feeling stuck.
From 1 to 10, how did you feel emotionally?
On that scale, it was really 10, 11, 12 in terms of fear and feeling stuck. Definitely over 10. And it was the regret that I sort of lived with every day. If I should have made different choices in the past. If only I'd gone to university, if only I'd done a trade, I wouldn't have to work these crazy hours to make money.
So you feel guilty?
I did back then, absolutely. It was everyday guilt for not having done more in the past, not having to live up to my own potential, which I knew deep down I had, but at that time wasn't accessing.
What did you do?
Well, I was lucky enough that we came over to Melbourne on holidays, my partner and I, and just loved it. Loved the energy of the city, this air of opportunity, the free-thinking people, the music scene and the sports scene and the culture. And around that same time, I came across that universal idea that what you think is what you become. And that sort of hit me, and I thought, everything in my life up until this point, I'd chosen all of it. I decided through my beliefs, I need to work really hard. This is what I need to do. So when I heard what you think about is what you become, I realised if I want a different future moving forward, all I had to do was start to change the way that I thought, change what beliefs I was living by. And that gave me this tremendous sense of empowerment that I can change my future. And yeah, it was just been an ever expanding journey since then.
Going back to the past, Do you cry when you felt probably depressed? Do you feel depressed?
Back then I did.
Do you cry?
It wasn't something that I expressed externally at all. It was all sort of internally something that I locked up. I used to get tonsillitis a lot. I used to get colds, and I've heard since that it was all in my head. It was this blockage. I wasn't speaking my truth. I wasn't talking to anyone about how I felt. I wasn't expressing what I really believed, what I really thought was possible. It was all sort of locked up, and yeah, since then I've just
So you hold all the emotions within you.
I did.
Hugh, could you tell please to the audience if they feel this kind of fear, if they don't want to cry or they don't want to express this emotion, what would you say to them?
I think one of the most important things we can do as human beings is really honour the emotions we're feeling. We need to all express how we're feeling with a partner, with a friend. We could even write down in a journal. If we're feeling fear, just acknowledge it. For a first, I'm feeling worried about this interview. I'm feeling a sense of dread about going to work today. Just acknowledge that emotion within ourselves. And from that place it's expressed, it's out, it's on the table, we can play with that. And then we can choose anew. We can choose a more empowering thought. We can decide, I don't want to feel that anymore. I want to choose a more empowering emotion. And the first step is awareness, becoming aware of how we feel, and then we can change it.
We can put a name to the fear.
Absolutely. Put a name to it. And say, I don't like that name. I don't like feeling guilty all the time. I want to feel empowered.
What else did you do to overcome that fear?
I started reading a lot of empowering books, personal development books, autobiographies of people who'd succeeded. People that I love, surfers, musicians, inspiring, business leaders, just starting to integrate a successful and empowered mindset into the way that I'm thinking. Because when you read about people, you start to pick up the way that they feel, the way they process the world, and you integrate that with how you think, feel, talk, and it's just this constant sort of evolution over the last few years of reprogramming my mind for success and
Could you
fulfillment.
explain please about reprogramming your mind? What does it mean?
It means often we go through life unconsciously picking up all the ideas of the people that we grew up with, our parents, teachers, the books we've read, the television shows we watch. Often we don't choose a lot of that. So when we want to reprogram our mind, as I said, we can start to choose the books we want to read. Listen to the voices of people who've succeeded in an area that you want to go into. Take someone out to lunch who's succeeded in something you want to do and ask, what's your mindset? How did you do it? And start to adopt the way they think.
Modeling.
Modeling.
Modeling successful people.
Modeling success.
What does modeling mean?
I believe that there's patterns to success. People that succeed do things in a certain way. They think in certain ways. They hold themselves in certain ways. They read certain books. And if we want to get the same results that they're getting, we can start to model what they do, copy what they do, read the books they read, speak in ways that they speak. And immediately people might be thinking, well, isn't that faking it? At the start, it can feel like that. But as you start to integrate their way of thinking into your mindset, you'll put your unique flavour onto it. It'll start to become natural to you. And you really start to tap into your own greatness, and then you're speaking from that place.
I like when you say own flavour. So we can learn from others, modeling others, but keep the essence, our essence. It's very important. Thank you for that input. I've got a question, Hugh. Is a person from Paraguay. Could you answer that question, please?
Absolutely.
Jose, Uruguay. He says, I always prepare myself before a job interview, looking myself in the mirror, responding possible questions, and I feel confident at that moment. But when I'm in front of the interviewer, I forget everything. My hands are shaking, I feel my legs and heart very heavy. It's like I'm dying. Can you believe that?
Absolutely.
And I don't know what to say. I know that fear is limiting me, but I don't know what to do. I feel devastated because the person who is interviewing me may be thinking I'm not good enough. What else can I do, please?
That's a great question from Jose, was it?
Jose,
Yeah.
Uruguay.
Great question. I think so many people that are out there probably watching now can relate to that feeling of going for a job interview and feeling that fear. So one of the first things I'd say to Jose is he's probably going in there, is the first thing that he can do is change his physiology, change the way he's holding himself. I can sort of hear in the way he's asking that, I can imagine him probably being in there and probably being closed off and with shallow breathing. And the first thing he can do is hold himself up in that and open his shoulders up, letting the oxygen in, empowering himself. Because this actually sends signals back to our brain saying, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling empowered. And it's in that mindset, that frame of mind and body, that we're going to be tapping into what the real value that we do have to share. So holding ourselves in that physiology of excellence just helps us access our real power.
It's a winner's position.
Winner's position, absolutely.
And he says, I feel devastated because the person who is interviewing me may be thinking I'm not good enough. And my question, Jose, is how do you know that this person is maybe thinking that you are not good enough? How do you know? Maybe this person is thinking that you are doing brave. Or maybe this person is thinking what time I'm going to finish with this interview. It's just the stories that you say. What do you think, Hugh?
Absolutely. Well, that fear that Jose was talking about, or it's really common to humans, that am I good enough? It's one of that universal fears that all human beings have running in the back of us. Am I good enough to do this? Is this person going to like me? Do I really have something to add to this conversation? So that's a really normal thought. And the first thing I'd say to him would be to notice that thought. It's probably one that's been having for a long time, and then change it. Get really present to, before he goes in, he can talk to himself and think, what are all the amazing attributes I do have to bring to this job? All the years of experience he's got, the fact that he's been successful before, the fact that the person, he's made it to the interview. He needs to get present to all the attributes he does have to bring to it. And it's automatically going to change the way that he's thinking, what he's saying, and he's going to be coming from a much more empowered place by just changing the stories that he's telling himself. I am good enough. I am amazing. I do have so much to give.
It's like a positive affirmations.
That's right.
Okay, if you give a strategy to Jose before an interview, what would you say?
Yeah. He can really set himself up for success in the interview by preparing himself before the interview. So
he said that he already was prepared, and also he was practicing in front of the mirror. But the thing is that what I realized is when he is in front of the interviewer, something happened that the body complete change. The hands are shaking, the heart and the legs are heavy. So talking about that specific moment, so it looks like the problem is being in front of that person because probably he's thinking that he's not good enough. It's his idea. What do you think that he can do?
It's key what you brought up, that his thought process is I'm not good enough, it's I. His focus is on himself when he's in front of that person.
You're right.
An empowering thing that he can do and that we can all do is change our focus to the person that we're with. Make the focus about others. How can I serve this person, this possible employee that he's looking at, or employer? How can I serve this person? What attributes can I can I share with this prospective boss that's going to have him see my value? How can I focus on this person now and be present to what he's actually asking me? When we focus on ourselves, it's that negative self-talk. But in others, it's a loving act to focus on others. That's really going to change things for him.
You're right. You're right. Thank you. Now I can see you very relaxed, very successful, very confident. Tell me, how do you feel now?
I know that anything that we all hear that we can do anything we set our mind to. But the important thing to do is if we can constantly hold our mind on that and keep ourselves empowered, keep ourselves relaxed, Keep ourselves coming from our heart's desires. Listen to that little. What I do all the time is I'm very aware of what do I really want out of this situation. What's that little whisper that comes from our heart? Not that I should do this. If I can make enough money, I'll be okay. But that heart's desire. What would I like to share? We need to tap into that. And one of the things that's brought me the biggest joy in the last couple of years is really just honouring that voice that's coming from within, that little whisper that often gets drowned out from the world around us. It's so easy to listen to all the noise. What's so empowering is to go within and just start working towards that thing that you're passionate about. Start writing a first chapter of a book. Start taking those dance classes. Start playing guitar. Start learning guitar. The self-fulfillment and the energy and the drive that comes out of that, taking that first step, it just flows into every area of your life.
It's like distracting your mind.
It's like we need to keep front of our mind what it is we really want, instead of listening to the fear. The fear will try and keep us in our comfort zone. It'll try and say, don't change jobs.
Yeah.
Don't go for what you really want because
don't do this, don't do that.
Absolutely. When we can follow what it is that we really want, that's when we overcome the fear. The fear's always going to be there.
Yeah.
There's that great book titled by Susan Jeffers. She's an amazing American author. Feel the fear and do it anyway. The book title really says it all.
Yes, I read that. Yes, amazing. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Do it anyway. There's another great quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, a philosopher and an amazing thinker. You do the thing that you fear, and the death of fear is certain. The thing that you're most afraid of is going to give you your biggest growth. Do the thing. Go to the event that scares you. Talk to the person that scares you. Go to the interview. And when you come out of it, oh well, I survived.
Because we are human beings. We are equal. We are equal.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people think, oh my God, probably that person is the boss, is the owner, is successful. I'm not. It's not. We are human beings. All of us are normal, equal.
We all have the same desires and hopes, and he has his own self-doubts, the boss. We need to realise that everyone's getting around with their own little critical inner voice, but we need to just go to that higher level of thinking of, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. All of us go to sleep. All of us eat. Completely normal. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. I really appreciate that you are here. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you very much, Gaby. It's absolutely my pleasure, and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. All the best. See you next time.